Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush aamdeed, ji aya nu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhair agele, ni hao, turashumme, washmale, ohai gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bhalli garein, washmale. And thank you very much for tuning into PTV World. You watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic and amazing Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing on 1st of October 2020?
I'm doing great. And Shahzad, when you said 1st of October, I just realized we actually spent the entire year 2020 in quarantine, man. It's almost over. Didn't realize that, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
But yeah, the best part is my birthday's coming, which is due next year. But yes, obviously, since it's October, so I'm not far away, since it's in January as well, I feel a little excited. But that's particularly fine.
All right.
Other than that, how do you feel? How's everything going? Do you think that Pakistan is catching up with things post-COVID very well? Or do you think that, we should have still given some time to our kids before sending them to school?
Okay, my personal opinion absolutely is that everything should have stayed online because we were sort of getting onto it, right? We were learning how to actually learn online as well. So I think that could have been the case for the next few months as well, especially in the case of primary school students, especially in the case of Montessori students. They're so tiny. If they were mine, to be honest, I wouldn't be able or ready to send them back to school, especially amidst the second wave coming on as well. What about you? Is it hard though, believing that not everyone is actually going to adhere to the SOPs, right? I mean, you can only teach your child so much because when he or she is exposed to the world,
it was all over the news channels yesterday as well. So for all of those parents who are out there, I think they are a little more concerned as well, and we spoke about it yesterday.
Yeah.
So just yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, when the schools actually opened up, the authorities went to the schools, and unfortunately, none of the schools were following the standard operating procedures, which was sad to look at. And now we have seen recently over here in Islamabad, the two of the universities were sealed just because of the fact that there were more coronavirus cases in just a single day. So there was this one hostel, I think they had 30 coronavirus cases in one day, and then there was this other university, there were numerous cases as well. So, thinking about kids, ladies and gentlemen, they're the most vulnerable as well when we talk about germs, disease, or probably, God forbid, COVID-19 as well. So for myself as a parent, I haven't sent my daughter to school as of now. I'm going to look into it for another week's time, and I'll be like, okay, beta, whatever homework you're going to get, you're going to do it at home, and then probably we'll look at it.
Maybe this is the time a lot of parents are going to realize that homeschooling wasn't a bad idea after all. But Shahzad, remember, we've been in a conversation with a lot of educationists over here, and they mentioned about the hybrid education system the schools are adopting.
Exactly.
So what I don't understand is, or maybe you have the details of it, so 2 days you're supposed to go to school and learn everything, and the rest of the days you will learn online. How's that going to work? Why can't it be on your own to choose if you want to go or, stay online?
But you know what? Online learning, I think, is just like...
it's a little it's a little casual,
No, it's like you're reading on a tablet and you're telling your father that you're actually studying, so that's how it is. Because what I've realized in the past few months is that, for all of what the kids were learning on their tablets via online teaching methods, they weren't really picking up on it, because every now and then I'll go back home, I will see my daughter sleeping right next to the tablet, and I'll be like, okay, hey, that's what online schooling is all about. And then towards the evening, I'll actually have to sit down with her and see and check her copies as well. So for ladies and gentlemen, everybody who's out there, I think it needs to be the parents' call whether they want to send their kids to the school or not. Obviously, they've missed out for 3-4 months. If they're going to miss out for another 15 days or 20 days, meanwhile, everything gets back to normal. And to check whether the schools are following the SOPs, I think it is very essential for the parents to decide whether they're willing to send their kids to the school or not.
Absolutely. And for all the kids out there, I really hope, God forbid, not just because of the COVID-19, but for any reason, I hope you don't have to go see the doctor.
Yeah.
I know as a kid how annoying it may be.
Exactly.
And what do they say about apples and doctors, Shahzad?
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, fruits obviously need to be a regular part of our diet, but they say about the apple, that if you take an apple a day, you're going to keep the doctor away. Is that really true? We have a report on this. Please, let's take a look. I mean, you guys will come back. We'll let you know why we're wearing these pink ribbons.
Yeah, let's do it.
Apples are generally known as sweet gold of Pakistan and are among the most popular fruits, containing antioxidants, vitamins, dietary fiber, and a range of other nutrients. Due to their varied nutrient content, they may help prevent several health conditions. Apples come in a variety of shape, colors, and flavor and provide a range of nutrients. that can benefit many different aspects of a person's health. For example, they may help reduce the risk of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and several other conditions. Apple are also an important ingredient in many desserts such as apple pie, apple crumble, apple cake, etc. And when cooked, some apple can easily form a puree known as applesauce. They are often baked and are also used in some delicious meaty dishes. Apples are rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. These substances can neutralize free radicals.
Wow, I just feel like having an apple, ladies and
I know,
gentlemen.
right?
And Sadi, you did a great job with the report too as well. Keep up, she's a new member of our team. But ladies and gentlemen, now coming back to what I said earlier, that we are actually going to let you know why we're wearing these pink ribbons. So on PTV World over here on the 1st of October, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually going to talk about breast cancer awareness as well, because this entire month is dedicated towards breast cancer awareness. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody over here who happens to be that person who from 2004 till now has made sure that he's actually going to dedicate his life for one reason only, and that is breast cancer awareness.
Shazad, before we do move on, there's something I actually wanted to talk about. So, you know, I was reading a lot of news articles, profile interviews sort of about breast cancer survivors. I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to share human stories here in the show. But since they were all, well, I didn't know them personally, right? Of course, the cause was real. But then I thought of someone whom I know personally, and I saw their struggle. So without any names, of course, she happens to be, she used to be our next door neighbor in Multan, in one of the places where we used to live in Multan. Now, she's still my mom's very good friend. She has 3 daughters, mashallah, all of them well-educated, placed in their houses now after marriage, you know, working very well, mashallah. She's running her own house, the aunt I'm talking about. You know, she was diagnosed with unexpected breast cancer about more than, I want to say, 21 years ago. And she had to go through surgery. She had to go through all the stages. She was even told by the doctor that this is it for you. Maybe you want to speak with your daughters and let them know that you're not going to come back to home and everything. I mean, imagine, you know, we have heard these stories. We have seen them in movies as well. But imagine actually having to live through that. But she was so strong. I mean, I still take so much inspiration from her. She had to get her breasts removed eventually because the tumor was spreading all over and it was really bad for her to actually carry on with it. But she, even after 21 years of that, she is so strong-willed. She runs her own house. She has no help. She does all the activities herself. She's into gardening. Her daughters are, mashallah, mashallah, a real portrait of what she used to be.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant to see such people actually live up to expectations that no one had for them.
Exactly.
They built their own life and they wanted to become better for themselves. I think it's beautiful.
Exactly. So
So
ladies
much
and
to learn
gentlemen, this
from.
year around, I think that the theme is Become a Better You as well. I
Yeah.
think that's what the theme is. But very quickly, sharing a few facts out there for everybody who's actually tuned into PT World. So ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, 40,000 women die every year in Pakistan just because of this menace, which is breast cancer. Then obviously, being over here in Pakistan, not a lot of people are very liberal to talk about it as well. Women especially in particular do not discuss this illness with anybody in home, may it be their brothers or fathers. They don't feel it like that as well. 1 out of every 9 lady over here, ladies and gentlemen, in Pakistan can actually be a victim of breast cancer.
Yes.
Then I think, but this year around what they're talking about is that they're talking about prevention, because if you know, everything is in time, and if a person is going to keep a check, it decreases 40% of the chances of you getting the breast cancer as well. So imagine,
Right.
and we keep on talking about it, that over here in Pakistan we do not have this habit of going to our doctor and just getting ourselves checked up.
Or
One, obviously,
self-analysis is a thing as well, right? You should definitely start with that. We'll actually talk about it. Sorry to cut you
yeah.
over here.
So one, actually what happens is that, you know, over here in Pakistan, people think the other way, and that is that they think that, you know, if we are going to go to the doctor, you know, the doctor might just figure out something, and you know, that will be then the end of our lives. Number one, okay, that is wrong. I know for sure that there are a few doctors. I'm not blaming everybody who do that to a lot of people just for the money. But then the second part is that we do not have that trend of going to the hospital and just getting
Yes.
ourselves checked up to a general physician. We do not have family physicians over here. A few people do, but when we talk about urban and rural areas together, I don't think that it's really happening. And God forbid, the worst part over here is that women who actually want to get a treatment for themselves, by the time they get to the hospital or to the doctor, they're at stage 3, and it's very late for them as
very
well.
late,
So we really need to talk about it. Everybody out there needs to talk about it, because everybody loves their wives, mothers, sisters, nieces, everyone,
it's-
each and every one of them.
And it's so important now to especially talk about it and, spread awareness, Shazad, because younger girls are developing breast
Yeah.
cancer, which was not a thing before.
Exactly.
There must be some underlying reasons. We are definitely going to discover that. But the worst news over here, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Pakistan over here in Southeast Asia has the highest number of women living with breast cancer.
Yeah.
This is not a good stat to start the day with, but unfortunately, we have to. Let's dig deeper into it with someone who happens to be, like you mentioned, an expert on the topic.
An
He has
expert.
dedicated his quite some years of his life just to pursue the awareness of this particular thing among Pakistani generation.
All right,
as
and
well.
very quickly before I introduce this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've always taken inspiration from him because the way he has worked and the way he has evolved. Because I think World This Morning has been going on for more than 7-8 years.
Yes.
Every year he's made sure that he's going to give us time as well and come out with more and more ambassadors. Not just that, he's made sure that he's going to reach out to the President House as well and the Prime Minister House. And towards the evening today, you will see that everything will be illuminated pink. And I think that the kind of dedication he's got and the kind of posters we see, not just in Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, go to any city, any place, you will see it over there. And he's been doing it on his own. Why is something which we might not be interested in, but as a matter of fact, there obviously needs to be a story behind that.
Yeah.
But before we, ask him these questions, I think what we really need to ask him is, how did he manage to do this all, that he actually brought the entire Pakistani nation together on this one issue, and he's struggling, he's making sure that he's going to work harder and he's reaching his goals. Is he? That's the question which we'll be asking. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the CEO of Pink Ribbon. He is the one and only Mr. Umar Aftab. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you very
Pinktober
much.
again.
Pinktober again, and start is with your show. So
Alhamdulillah.
Great start.
Thank you very much for taking our time. It's wonderful to have you. But very quickly, because we have spoken about a few issues which we are focusing on this time around, what I want to know and our audiences would love to know is, how has been your journey from since 2004, and how many number of cases have reduced? What are the statistics now, and what is the way forward?
Well, unfortunately, when we started the campaign in 2004, so it was really difficult to talk about it. So when we launched our campaign, so all the television channels, they blacked out. They said
Right.
that we can't take the B word on television. So initial many years, it was all about just, making people realize that we are talking about a disease which is the biggest killer of women in Pakistan, and we can save all these lives with awareness. So unfortunately, many of the initial years were just, when we wanted to start our college program, I went to one of the very, I would say, progressive college of Lahore, and I was so shocked that the principal, she refused to have session on breast cancer.
Are you serious?
So at almost every level, wherever we used to go, people were so reluctant to talk about this issue. So for many years, our challenge was just to start talking about the issue, start making people realize that how important this issue is.
Right.
And the whole theme initially of the Pink Ribbon campaign was that this is the only cancer which can be diagnosed at the early stage, because all the symptoms are external, and if it's diagnosed at the early stage, so chances of survival are more than 90%.
Right.
And most of the women patients we would talk to, they would know about the symptoms for months, but they would not take them seriously, or they'll just hide it, and they report to hospital on third stage, which becomes like really very late stage, and then it becomes very painful, and chances of survival are very low.
Okay.
So initial our journey was to at least start talking about this issue, and alhamdulillah, now this year, for example, this will be the third year that President Saab and First Lady are supporting the campaign. So this has given the campaign definitely a boost
Absolutely.
at the national level. And for all of these years, while we were talking about early diagnosis, now we have started talking about prevention, because when we used to go to colleges and we used to talk to young girls, they would say, well, how can we save ourselves? So when we started doing research on this topic, we realized that 40% of cancer is preventable with lifestyle change. It's just lifestyle change. So that's why this year's theme is Become a Better You.
I was going to get to that. Of course, we need to speak about that. But one thing where you spoke about how the president has been involved since the past 3 years as well. I think it's a brilliant time for me actually to see someone educated running the country as well. I'm pretty sure you both feel the same way, because, you know, the people who are actually now running the country, they do realize that it is health that matters. And, you know, health is what is wealth, and we need to run together towards achieving that quality of life. But one thing, to my understanding, like you said, yes, this has been a stigmatized topic, not only like you were saying in 2004 or even later than, even now. This was probably 2 months ago. So at a bus terminal in Lahore, breastfeeding chambers were installed for women with, of course, newborn babies. And this tried a debate on Twitter and Facebook. Everyone just flipped out. How dare you use the word breastfeeding? And women were shocked. I mean, what is there something wrong with it? So yes, we definitely need to, you know, this is what we're talking about. We need to aware people. But from the theme, I understand that this is not about awareness this year. It is about telling the patients or the survivors that you have to, I mean, be okay with yourself. Is it so?
So at one end, we are now talking about prevention, because we want to give a positive message that yes, we can save women from getting breast cancer. And on the other hand, now we are taking forward our agenda. We call it Pink Ribbon Call for Action, which is breast cancer patient centric, because we now feel that with this involvement at the highest level, that the President Saab and the First Lady is involved. So now we are giving some recommendations to the government, because we also need to do some strategic things as well at the national level. For example, unfortunately, till date, we don't have National Cancer Registry in Pakistan. That's the first step, because if you want to plan about some disease, you need to have statistics. Like we just saw with COVID, that there was a national command center, so that's why, you know, everything was so we all the time we were having statistics, and the planning is always based on statistics. So we are suggesting to have a National Cancer registry in Pakistan. Then there is a WHO model that every country has a National Cancer Prevention Program. So we are recommending that we should have also a National Cancer Prevention Program, because then we can see holistically that why overall cancer is increasing in Pakistan from 12 to 15% overall. And then among that, breast cancer is the highest, which is 38.5% of the total cancer burden. So we really need to see, because yes, treatment is one thing, but then cancer treatment is very expensive for the state as well, and for the individual as well.
Exactly. And this is something which I wanted to ask as well. You know, you just mentioned about the COVID as well, and that we were getting statistics as well as, and you said that, you know, we do not have a national cancer registration as well, where we would actually get to know. I'm sorry, but a lot of people might not like it, but I think that that's straight facts as well. Don't you think that for the other countries to have it is because of the fact that it has an enormous impact to actually treat all of their cancer patients, because when a majority of those countries are welfare states as well. Over here in Pakistan, you know, everybody is for themselves anyways, you know, what's the point of them having a national cancer registry in any case? So don't you think that we really need to emphasize on having that in the first place, and then coming down to a point where, okay, you know what, we need to do it together?
Yeah, and then like for example, this health card. So we are also recommending that breast cancer should be part of it, because now, right now, if someone has a health card, so they can't go to Baitul Mal to get support for the chemo drug. So they have to first surrender their health card, and then Baitul Mal will support them for chemo. So you know, there are some small things which, if are like properly set, we can at least you know, bring some positive change in the because, you know, normally breast cancer patient treatment will be at least 2 million, at least 2 million.
At least.
At least.
Wow.
So, and it can go up to maybe 2.5 or 3 million
All right.
rupee, because you know, if generally it's 15 doses of chemo,
Okay.
and one dose is averagely a lakh plus.
Yeah.
So for many people, it's not affordable.
Of course, it's not.
The other recommendation we are putting is that if we can't subsidize chemo, at least we can waive off taxes and duties on chemo drugs,
This is
because
brilliant.
for many people, even if they are diagnosed, it's very difficult for them to go to treatment, because they can't spend 2 million rupees for the
Exactly.
treatment. That's why. So this is expensive, painful. So we have been talking about early diagnosis, because if it's diagnosed at early stage, you don't need to go through all of
Exactly.
this. It might be just a simple surgery, and then now we are talking about prevention. So why to even go
Right.
to
Go there,
that?
yeah.
You just change your lifestyle, you can prevent yourself.
So what did you guys detect? What are some of the major changes that I can immediately make in
I
my
would love to
life
ask
that
that.
will, make me prevent actually developing such a...
Well, your eating habits. There
Okay.
are, all the artificial ingredients used in food. For example, color, preservatives, additives,
food, okay.
processed meat, refined sugar.
Okay.
That's very important, because
Yes.
it is kind of a if
It's
someone
white
has
poison,
this
basically.
no, and if someone has this tumor cell, so
Okay.
this white sugar serves as a fertilizer, so it multiplies your cancer cells,
Oh, I didn't know
unfortunately.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these are like very carbonated drinks.
Okay.
The milk we drink, we need to make sure that it's not taken from an animal having steroids
Yeah.
for getting more milk. That's very harmful for female health.
Alright.
It affects the estrogen levels, and estrogen levels are directly linked with breast cancer. So we really need to, the chicken we artificially grown chicken. So
We're
all
so
of these
used to
things.
that. We're so used to that. Sorry to cut you. But here's the thing. Now, is it genetic as well? If there's a family history, are you at more risk of developing breast cancer?
There is a risk, but it's hardly 3 to 4%.
All
So
right.
it's not that if you have someone in the family, you will definitely have it.
Okay, so here's the thing. And now I'm going to take you back to one of the things you said, where we need to have a national registry, and it's
Yeah.
not just about cancer. Shazad, I think a lot of medical practitioners who've been here on the show literally demand for there to be medical records of every single patient. So it's really easy to treat that way. But let's
I
talk-
think if you can recall as well, while we were talking about COVID, even in US, they were talking about having this chip installed in everybody else,
Okay.
so that they could get to know what kind of vaccinations everybody has got. It is because of the fact that they had a registry and they knew how many people have gone through what kind of diseases. So I think
Right.
it's about time. But very quickly before you complete, I just wanted to add one thing, and
Okay,
that is,
okay.
sir, I think that, the point you made, where the kind of food we are having, I think everybody needs to play their role. Everybody over here in Pakistan, I think, is just after making money. They're not making sure that whatever kind of product they are selling, whether it's healthy or not, there are no check and balances. We've seen videos of cabbage being made out of plastic as well. So eating all of that obviously will land us with a lot of other diseases.
Most definitely. So you're right, Shazad. And these are some of the things that we tend to overlook for some reason. I don't know why. But so I wanted to speak about when we're talking about a national registry. Now, there are a lot of stakeholders in the process. It's literally not just the patients or the
Yep.
people who are the family members of the patients. Let's talk about the medical practitioners or the doctors themselves. While amazing people like you definitely will be there to support the cause, sir, but let's just face it, there are a lot of people who will still be like, I'm not going to, work after my office hours, or I'm not going to work for people for free. While this is a cause, I don't care about it. And these are literally some people I know will not do such things as well. First of all, them. Then there are some societal problems. Like we said, there's a stigma attached. I know men whose wives are, overseas Pakistanis, but they wouldn't let them go to see a male doctor because how dare you? I mean, only a female can treat you. And then again, where do we find a lot of female doctors over here in the society, because you're not allowed to work? One thing leads to another. So what about these things, and what about all the stakeholders?
I think that's, that brings us to the issue that we being a patriarchal society.
Yeah, but aren't we back to like zero where we started from?
Unfortunately, we are a very event-based society. So one event occurs and we are like years back, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So that's how it is. And if you see anything regarding women, it becomes a controversy in our society.
Exactly, especially about the body.
About sexuality, though
Yes.
it's such a big taboo. So that's so unfortunate. And especially talking about a disease
Yes.
which is killing 40,000 sisters, mothers, daughters
Every year.
And then again, let me tell you that this figure of 40,000 is just that the reported cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas we would know, everyone would know lots of people who would never go to hospital. They'll just die without telling anyone with breast cancer. And especially in rural areas, there, I think every fifth patient would not reach to the hospital. They will just go to the quack or or a Hakeem or someone like that. They would
Absolutely.
never report to us. So this figure even is not the
Not
real,
actually true.
Yeah. So with this kind of, I think that breast cancer is not a less pandemic than
Corona
COVID. I
itself.
think it's
COVID,
even more than that. So the way government handled COVID, I think government needs to now plan something for this as well on war footing.
Exactly.
Absolutely, I agree.
And sir, as of now, speaking about 1st of October 2020, Pakistan does not have a single facility just dedicated towards breast cancer only. Am I right?
Yeah, so Pink Ribbon is constructing Pakistan's
Yes,
first
that's
dedicated
what I was about to ask.
breast cancer hospital. Unfortunately, this year because of Corona, everything stopped. So our plans delayed a bit. But inshallah, I think in next couple of months we are almost halfway through with the building.
Mashallah.
And it's a medium-sized facility, but as a starting point, it will be a center of excellence and a model which then can be replicated in other parts of the country as well. So inshallah.
And where is this center being built?
It's in first one is in Lahore. It's very central, Firozpur Road, near Kalma
it.
Chowk. It's very central, very easy to access. And inshallah, we hope that in next couple of months this will be up and running, inshallah.
Amazing. And sir, before we very quickly wrap up, what I need to ask over here is back in 2004 when you started with this journey of yours, how many women were dying every year just because of breast cancer?
Well, at that time we hardly knew that how many women were dying because no one was talking
really
about
big
it.
stats.
No one was going to the hospitals.
Yep.
No one was reporting. But the good thing is that now when we talk to doctors, so there is a slight decrease in the mortality
Mashallah.
rate, and then there is increase in women coming to hospitals at a bit early stage, rather than there was a time when 70% of the women would reach hospital at third stage.
Exactly.
So now we are seeing that women and young girls are coming to hospital for checkup, for diagnosis at an early stage. That itself, I think, is a great achievement.
Which is why I'm going to ask you one last thing, and that is, how does it feel, 16 years down the line, that you have saved thousands and thousands of lives?
Alhamdulillah, I think with lots of depressing years during this time, but now it's I thank God because if this topic has come into the national health agenda and at the highest level now people are talking about it. So I think I've tried to play my role, and I believe that one person can bring change.
Exactly.
course.
And generally, as Pakistani, we would always blame our government. The government is not doing this or that. I always say that what are you doing? At least what I, as an individual, whatever I can do, I should do that. And this is an example that yes, when we started, it was very difficult, very depressing, very tough. But Alhamdulillah, we were on the right direction, and today, at least, there is some change on
Alhamdulillah.
this issue, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So thank you very much for being with us. It was lovely to talk about Pinktober, Pink Ribbon, and the initiatives taken by Pink Ribbon as well. I have always been taking inspiration from you, and I will continue to do so. Thank you very much for saving millions lives out there as well.
Absolutely.
And yes, stay blessed. And yes, this is your month. Please make sure that you bring about more changes within the system as well. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, I think that everybody needs to come together. And Mr. Umar Aftab Sahab has said it very clearly, out and loud, that, what can you do is what we want. If we do not want, okay, the government will do this and there will be policy making and whatnot. We do not need that. If there's anything you can do, I think one should do that.
And speaking of the simplest things that you can do is, if you know of anyone who is actually going through any hard parts in their life, or probably especially going through breast cancer as well, be kind to them, be nice to them, do not stigmatize them, do not treat them any different, do not cringe at them, and try to be as normal with them as you are on any other day as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please be, I want to say, sensitive to such content. Do not be a source of feeling bad for anyone out there as well. Well, this is Pinktober. We are celebrating. We will be doing that throughout the month as well. Right now, we're going to a very short break. When we come back, we have something even more
Hashtag
interesting.
become a better you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this.
Good morning. Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with the very energetic Shahzad Khan and Shahzad Hashmi, where today and for the next few days as well, we are going to be celebrating and observing Pinktober, which happens to be an entire month of October dedicated towards awareness of breast cancer, thus the pink ribbons.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen, but now moving on towards stronger women as well, because earlier we were in conversation with Mr. Umar Aftab Sahab, who happens to be the CEO of Pink Ribbon as well. And he said that, everybody needs to come out by themselves and, keep a check on them and become a better you. So we have a lot of stories which I think we can link with the hashtag become a better you, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful being over here in the studios who actually started her own career. She's an entrepreneur now. and she hails from Peshawar as well. She's got her own team, and she was the first ever female photographer who was actually going to weddings and clicking pictures.
At
How was
such
it
a
for
young
her?
age.
Yeah, how was it for her is something which we're going to ask about as well. But not just that, she just recently started her own startup. We're going to ask about that. She's a photographer. We're going to take a good look at the pictures. So is she, or has she become a better version of herself, is something which we're going to ask her as well. Ladies and gentlemen, she happens to be Miss Ramsha Azhar. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you
It's our
very much for
pleasure.
joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So the first thing, are you a better version of yourself which you were when you were 18 years old only?
Yes, alhamdulillah, I've covered a long way. It's been 6 years now, and I believe Ramsha as an individual has grown up in all these years.
Mashallah,
Mashallah, that's
wonderful.
brilliant. So Ramsha, when was the first time you picked up the camera and you were like, hey, this is my passion and this has to be my profession?
Yeah, I would say it was 2014 when I thought this is the only field which I'm gonna go and excel it.
Yeah.
Really?
Before that, I was just a child with a wandering soul trying to find her purpose and do something better in life.
Yeah.
And in 2014, it just clicked that, this is the field and I'll just go and give a shot to it.
Yeah.
And it proved to be good.
So what kind of photography were you doing? Or was it like a picture of just an example, was it a picture of a sunflower that you took and you were like, hey, this is nice, I should pursue it?
When I was like young, it was my hobby, photography.
Okay.
I started doing portraits and I find inspiration in the different features of human. So
Nice.
fashion photography was what I feel I can excel and work on it. So I took a start from wedding photography where I was able to, look into different features and different faces that God
And
has
candid
given.
moments,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who got you the first professional camera?
My mother.
Your mother?
So
Yeah.
sweet.
Wow.
She gifted me my first professional camera.
And then how was it going to weddings and then clicking pictures of other people getting married?
It was a wonderful feeling seeing people enjoying their big day and you making it, something unique with your skill.
Yeah.
So it was something very out of the box and exciting as a photographer.
And how
And
was it
wasn't
for all of those people who actually hired you for their wedding? That, a woman, going here and there and then clicking pictures. It might look cool, but, how was their response or their reaction? So the first ever work you got or a wedding you got, share your experiences of that.
People were it was very a big surprise for people of Peshawar to see a woman, jumping in the hall and taking the pictures and, overcoming all the challenges that she's facing. So
And we
it
have
was
the pictures on the screen as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Aw.
So it was very exciting. The response was very warm, welcoming, and people appreciated me a lot back then.
Yeah.
That's nice. And the good thing about this is, Ramsha, that I happen to know a lot of families which are not comfortable with male photographers coming in, especially on the all women functions as well. So I think this is a brilliant thing that we have everyone in the field working.
Exactly, but I have a very different question over here. So every wedding I go to now these days, and whenever I come back, I feel like getting married again because the ambience, the energy, dances,
so much fun.
The whole
and
vibe
everything.
is
It's
so-
so much fun, and I just want to relive my moment as well. But for women over here in Pakistan, it's different. Mothers usually take their daughters to a wedding so that anybody else, if they're interested, probably, a rishta auntie will come in and be like, aapki beti kya karti hai, all of those things as well. For you being a female photographer going to weddings, I think you will have to deal with it a long, it's a different way. People approaching you, Hanji beta, aap photographer hai? Okay.
Married
So did that actually happen to you?
Yeah, it did happen. And since I started from a very young age, I used to be, when I was 18, and people used to, ask me, aap university mein hai, aap padh rahi hai isme? I used to know I'm only 18, I'm in just college. So the response was very surprising and people were asking me different questions.
Yep.
It was a very variety of the views that I've come across in all these events.
Yeah.
And as you talked about the rishta aunties, so yes, I do have come across the girls who used to ask me कि मेरी ऐसी picture लें जो मैंने अभी रिश्ते के लिए भेजी है. So as I said, the whole vibe and the field is so exciting and fun if you have a passion for it, so you enjoy every bit of it.
Wow.
Right. So Ramsha, now you have a startup of your own, and you're actually sort of training youngsters on how to pick up the camera and be a professional. Let me know about that experience now that you are the master yourself, and let us know some details about the startup.
I started this startup a year ago because
What is it called?
It's called My Photography School.
Okay.
And the name is because every individual that contacted me in all these years when they were not finding the right workshops for learning this skill. So I believe that everybody owns this profession and they own this passion, so
Yeah.
why not to name it my photography school? And then I've collaborated with different organizations. I've worked with Iqra University Peshawar, I've worked with NIC Peshawar, I've worked with Rana Welfare Organization, and I'm arranging different workshops for especially the students who can't avail this opportunity because it's too pricey to go and learn this skill. So I'm providing them the platform and I'm teaching them the skill.
Is it for free or is it on very different rates, probably affordable rates?
It's both actually.
So for somebody who cannot afford it, you're offering them the courses for free as well?
Yeah, I have
Wow.
done that, yes.
Okay, so Ramsha, here's the thing. Now, if in today's age, of course, if I'm going to book a photographer, what I expect for them is to, of course, be good at photography, yes, capture all the right moments, but then also have the right amount of know-how of probably Photoshop or Lightroom, and then I can probably tell them this is the theme I want for the wedding and this is the theme I want for the album. So you really have to keep up to date every month. Are you doing that?
Yes, we are actually doing that because this is a trend industry and it
Yes,
keeps on
that's what-
changing.
Yeah.
If you're
Everyone
not
wants an
following the
Insta
trend, you'll
wedding.
just lag behind. So we do keep a check on the updates of the market and the requirement of client every month.
Exactly.
So we are handling that.
And
part.
not just that, I think there was this trend of having, drones flying within the marquee as well. And if you do not have a drone photographer or a video maker, your wedding is not up to the mark as well. So, obviously these trends are going to go on. And I think these trends exist because of women we have in our lives as well, because they're like trendy, being up to the mark as well. And it's great. But investing on equipment, skill is one thing. It's a very different thing. But in continuously investing on equipment, updating it, how important it is for any photographer to do so. Not just that, and how important it is for a photographer to be an editor herself or himself.
As a photographer, you need to be a master of all the skills, whether it comes to editing.
Can you
whether it
fly a
comes to-
drone yourself?
Not yet, but I'm
yeah.
in practice of it.
Mashallah.
And as you've mentioned that you need to be master of all skills. I've learned the editing part. I've also took the workshops regarding videography because it's a completely different field if you talk about it. And then I've also over the time updated myself regarding the photography and its skill. So being a photographer, if you want to lead a team, you need to first learn all the skills yourself first.
Right.
And then when you talk about that, when people ask us about different skills and how we cope up with that, and then financing regarding the equipments. So if you want to work for excellence and if you want to make a brand name, you need to work on it every day.
Yeah.
As I've said, that technology is improving with every second.
Yeah.
So there's a new camera in the market after every month. So we need to keep a check on it if you want to work for our long-term goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Go on.
And that's wonderful as well. But what I wanted to ask over here is that over here in Pakistan things just run differently. If there's a river which is supposed to go up north, it will come down south as well, or west. But what I'm going to ask you is that over here in Pakistan, whoever has got their own startup, or if somebody happens to be a photographer, or if I'm a host, or when I was in my early years as well, every now and then my friends would call me and they would be like, hey, we're doing this event, can you just come and do this for us as well, since you have been our friend. I mean, that's the only my only chance of earning money, my friends doing events and then calling me for free is something very different.
Yeah.
But not just that, I think it's not just friends, it's family members as well. Yaar, Ramsha, zara please picture to
camera leke aana, Ramsha.
I need a display picture. So how disturbing in the first place are all of these things? Because that amount of skill set which you have gained in the last 5 years obviously deserves a lot of value.
Definitely.
And people want it. People want it for themselves as well. Do you think that these trends need to change, or is it okay,
Yes, they do need to change
Okay.
because at the start of the career, I've done lots of free shoots for people,
Yeah.
and I've done it out of love and out of friendship bonds. But now over all these 6 years, when I've worked so hard every day along with my studies and my bachelor's,
course.
I want to get a prize of it.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah, so these trends need to be changed. If there's a young entrepreneur who wants to excel, and if there's a beginner who wants to work in the field, you need to pay a price
Yeah.
to give them the encouragement, to give them that finance that they need to do in their equipment. So I believe these trends are really need to change, and you
And
need to
there's
pay the price for the skills.
Do you get a lot of messages from bloggers for a collaboration and a free shoot?
Yes, we do get it, but it's a a different market when you talk about bloggers.
Okay.
That's a kind of a marketing strategy that you can go for it.
But the ones that
Yeah.
you want to go for, right?
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of people come begging.
Like there is, that's a completely, as I've said, it's a different market.
Yeah.
If you want, there are different techniques where you can market yourself.
Yeah.
So yes, we do go for collaborations.
Okay.
But then there are forced collaborations, and then
That's
there
what
are
I'm
happy
talking about.
collaborations. Yeah.
And obviously, since you're a photographer yourself and you've spent 6 years now, but the world's changing and the world needs to evolve. And once you've mastered one skill, you will obviously move on to another one. So there's filmmaking, there's videography, there's cinematography, and there's so many other things which you can do with just one camera with which you have been clicking pictures.
Right.
So are you looking forward to becoming a director or something for the films or fashion shoots, because you said that you wanted to do fashion shoots. Obviously weddings are different. So what kind of fashion shoots are we going to look at? Are we going to look at a magazine cover from Paris someday, probably done by you?
Yes, alhamdulillah, inshallah, you're gonna see that, because I have that goal. Because when I was very young, I started working in this field because I've seen different producers, women producers, who have achieved a lot and have won Oscar awards. So they were one of my inspiration that I stepped into this field. And yes, you would see a lot of films. I want to, feature the common stories of Pakistani people
Let's do it.
worldwide that
When are we
people
doing
should
it?
know about. There are so many people who are working on every day. You see a taxi driver, you see different other common people who get up every day and who try to work hard to make their living best. But these stories are not, published in a
Highlighted.
way that people get to know about it. And I
Exactly.
believe this is a positive side of Pakistan. Everybody needs to see it.
Wonderful.
You're right, Ramsha, absolutely 100%. Just very quickly towards the end, speak to this camera, because a lot of people are watching you right now. Speak to the youngsters especially, how they should go about their dream.
For youngsters, I would say life is not, easy. Get used to it, and try to, take care of people who have trusted you and have supported you in your life. And if you want to achieve something, make sure you're utilizing your potentials very well, because if you're not, then you will be lag behind. And just don't cry out that you don't have opportunities. You make sure that you create those opportunities for yourself.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I just love the ambition and I love the passion as well. Best of luck to you, Ramsha. Hashtag become a better you
Become a
as well.
better
And you
you.
certainly did
Thank
that
you
with
so
your
much.
own intentions and with your own effort, and you truly deserve a big round of applause. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
doing
so
so, and
much.
thank you very much for inspiring a lot of women out there as well. Ladies and gentlemen, towards the end, the only thing I'm going to say is that the key to happiness, I know that not a lot of people will understand it, but the key to happiness is Sanuki. Yeah, do you want to translate it for people who
Yeah,
might
so
know?
I think it means that mind your own business.
Yes.
Right, and you will be the happiest. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to do for this month is, and maybe you guys can help us out with it. So we want at least one small segment every day to be dedicated to people who did become a better version of themselves, especially stronger women who are now emerging in the society. And if we can get our hands onto, survivors of breast cancers who can share their stories with us, that would be brilliant. If you know anyone, please write to us to let us know on our Facebook page with the name of.
Well, this morning on your television screens down below in a second. Here it comes.
It
Well,
will be coming in a minute.
Yeah.
And on Twitter,
on Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion and YouTube.
Daily Motion and YouTube. It's World This Morning. It's down here, ladies and gentlemen.
And the repeat of this show you can catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. This entire month, ladies and gentlemen, is actually dedicated towards breast cancer awareness. Please make sure that you're going to play your role, because we are playing ours. Look after yourselves. Good morning.
Good morning. Take care.